So after nearly a year of the Bear's Den, I finally have an intro! Hooray! Hey guys, how you doing? My name is codename Big Bear, or Stuart if you want to call me by my first name. Welcome to the Bear's Den. Today we are going to be talking about snow levels because it is December, it is the holidays, Christmas is very, very soon, but you know, between you and me, my birthday is on the 17th, so yeah, I'm more excited about that, to be honest with you. So anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is 5 levels in games that are snowy themed, I guess. It's a pretty simple thing, it's a pretty obvious list that most people will probably see coming a mile off, but it's what I've got for you today. And the first thing I'm going to do is cheat straight away. It's not even a level, it's pretty much an entire game. About 75% of the game is set in the snow, and it's Lost Planet 2. No, it's not. It's not even Lost Planet, it's actually Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 is actually quite an underrated action game. You know, as a horror game, not very scary, especially after Dead Space 1 and 2, which is a game series I'm going to be talking about at some point in the future in much more in-depth detail. But Dead Space 3 was the third installment of this main series, and honestly I love it. I think it's a fantastic game. It's set on the icy tundra of Talos 5? I can never remember anything when I do these things. I always just forget it. So it's set on this like snow planet where Isaac has to help Carver, the other controllable character in this game, find history or where the markers have come from in the game. Now, what's really cool about this game and what takes away from some of the scariness is the fact this game is quite open. The area is quite open. You've got lots of area to play with. You have larger beasts to deal with, and you have more dramatic stuff going on, like in Uncharted 2 when he's kind of falling from the train. Your sequel is very much like that, except less climbing, more, you know, power your way through it and shoot things down. One of the really cool things about this game is actually the co-op play. Now the problem with this is not couch co-op, you have to be online, so finding someone to play that with nowadays, well, it's quite hard. But if you're on the Xbox, codename Big Bear, give me a shout, I will happily play that game with you. If you're playing as Carver, you see the game very differently to Isaac, and that's what makes this game really cool. When I first played this game, I believe I played through it solo first, and then I played it again with a friend of mine. So I played it as Isaac first, and obviously completed the game and enjoyed it very, very much. Then I played it through again with a friend where I was playing Carver, and I was seeing an entirely different game. Not entirely different, I was seeing the same story, same elements, but there are points in the game where, for instance, Carver on Isaac's screen is just doing this. He's just holding his head and he's just being a nightmare, not doing anything. But what I was doing as Carver was I was being attacked by many necromorphs, and I was trying my best, just wasting ammo, like getting rid of all my ammo, trying to do it. Like down the mic going, please help, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. He's like, mate, you're not doing anything, there's no one around you. What are you doing? Why are you not moving? And I was like, there's tons of enemies on my screen, what are you talking about? And it was things like this throughout the entire game that kept us interested, kept us wanting to carry on and play this game. There was another point as well, we went into one of the kind of, I want to say side missions. I can't remember, it's been a long time since I played it, to be honest. But you go into like a side area, and there's like a ton of nutcrackers around, and there's presents everywhere, and there's even a small red tricycle. And I was like, oh my god, look, check it out, red rum, like The Shining. And the guy I was playing with just didn't have a clue what the heck I was on about. And it turns out he couldn't see anything that I was seeing. And I really had to describe what I was seeing to him. And he was like, I'm not seeing any of that, I'm not seeing presents anywhere. Because at the first point when we walked into this room, I was like, oh man, like there's been a pie here. And he fully agreed with me because he could see blood and everything else everywhere, whereas I could see presents and all sorts of stuff messing around with Carver's psyche. And thanks to the snow elements to it, having to trudge through the snow and that controlling the pace that your characters move through as well, things popping out the ground, and having these harder to kill necromorphs because they've been frozen. They're kind of more rigid and, you know, they move differently to the original Necromorphs in the first 2 games as well. It was just a really nice element. On top of this, you have weapon crafting as well, which is cool, so you can kind of experiment with those guns and you can swap those with your partner as well, and it's really fun. But yeah, Dead Space 3, that's going to be the first one on this list. Second game I'm going to talk about is Mario 64 with Cool Mountain and Snowman Land. I'm kind of lumping these in as one, because even though the more iconic one is Cool Mountain, where you meet the penguin and you go down that awesome slide ride and you can try and cheat but he catches you out, or you can pick up the baby penguin and drop him off the cliff or take him to his mum, and you have all this kind of teleporting stuff that you can go around as well, you picking up red coins. I do feel that Snowman's Land is slightly underrated. You know, it's one of the later levels in the game, but it has some really cool puzzles. The most irritating one is the snowman's head on top of that kind of hill. It's a nightmare to get around. It's smaller than Cool Mountain as well, but it has some really cool puzzles like the ice building that has the star in it. You have loads of the spinning top bug things that you can bounce off and fly around and get to different areas of the level. I just think it's really quite cool, and the bully boss on that one is fun as well, because instead of melting him in lava like you do in the Koopa levels, in the King Koopa levels, Bowser levels even, you kind of knock him into the ice water. That if you were stepping out yourself with Mario, you get hurt, and he just kind of melts into that, and it's really quite cool. I really like it. But the Mario 64 levels, if you've played them before, if you played the Mario 3D All-Stars game we found recently, you would have got to them at some point, and hopefully fully appreciate it. But Mario snow levels are always fantastic. Right, so before we go any further, I've got a few more games to talk about. Before we go any further, we're going to do let's guess that picture, shall we? Did you guess what it is? Do you have any idea what I was drawing in that? Because most of the time when I watch it, I don't have a flipping clue. And I drew them. But this one is Bomberman! Or Cuphead. I mean, it's really up to you, but I was actually intending to do Bomberman here. So yeah, have fun with that one. Alright, so the next game I'm going to talk about, the next level I'm going to talk about is one that has been talked about a lot across the internet. If you watch video game lists or anything like that on a regular on YouTube, you've probably seen this one before, but it is Batman Arkham City, and it is the Mr. Freeze fight. It is fantastic. That entire level kind of building up to it, when you're going to Penguin's lair as well, that's really cool. But fighting Mr. Freeze himself is just epic. When I first played this game when it came out, I probably was day of release or a couple of days after release when I actually got around to playing it, I got to Mr. Freeze and I was, one, very excited because Freeze is a brilliant character, but two, when I realized he learns everything you do and you can't get him with the same sneak attacks and the same kind of, attacks, that was awesome. And then you really had to figure out and use everything within your arsenal that you had at the time. Now, obviously, playing Arkham City, you can unlock lots more things before you get there. If you grind enough, you get those points, and you can really do lots more different things. But if you were quite low and you blasted through the story, you only have a limited amount of things you can do, and you have to, I think you have to take them out 5 times. Where you can do a sneak attack from the vents, or you can jump from the top and get him that way, or you can use a gadget to blast through the wall and knock him out that way. You know, he learns. And it was great, and what was really cool about that is using your own intelligence against a hyper-intelligent villain as well, and it really proves that Rocksteady thought about this character a lot, and it's just genuinely a fantastic level, a fantastic boss, one of the best bosses I've ever come across in video games. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about that anymore, because that was, well, like I said, it's on the internet, it's everywhere. If you want to see more about it, there's plenty more about it. And just so you know, I believe for the December 20th video, December 20th Bears Den, I am planning on doing Batman Arkham Origins, an entire Bears Den on it, because, well, it's set during Christmas Eve, and why not, eh? So another level that's not talked about too much in video game lists like this is the Twilight Princess Snow Peak Ruins. I want to say Snow Peak Ruins. That might might be wrong. Hang on. I was correct. It was Snow Peak Ruins. I knew I'd written it down right. Anyway, so Snow Peak Ruins. This is just a really eerie level. You know, after doing all your usual forest and fire and your sand temples, you get to this snow temple, which is one completely frozen over, completely desolate. You have very few enemies, but the enemies you do come across are pretty tough, and you get a really cool item as well. And using that with your Wii remote at the time, it's awesome. But you get that huge ball and chain, and I believe you just kind of flicked it, and it would just and you could have it spinning around you, and you can launch it forwards, and you could hold a button like arrows and aim it, and you just spin and spin and spin. The fact that Link was able to lift that thing is insane. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mariusz Pudzianowski, 5-time world's strongest man, in case you don't know who that was, he couldn't do that himself. I'm sorry about that, I'm such a nerd. Yeah, and you use this tool to smash through ice walls, and you fight some really cool enemies as well. Like I say, you have like ice knights that you have to face. They have a similar weapon. In fact, that's how you get the weapon in the first place. And I remember playing against them and finding them really hard to deal with. Again, the puzzles are really cool. Again, I think at this point you are using the air boomerang as well. I need to play this game again. I really love Twilight Princess, and the fact I haven't played it for a long time is really annoying. I still have it on my Wii, and I should go back. I'm hoping that next year, 2021, during the Zelda 35th, we might actually get a copy of it on the Switch, and I thought I'd be good. But yeah, so Snow Peak Ruins is a really cool level, really desolate, and just well designed, and something slightly different to what you might usually expect within a Zelda game, at least for its time anyway. I don't ever recall coming across ice levels in Zelda before then, and no, I really don't actually. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. Now this one's gonna be nice and quick because it is an absolute classic. If you played Crash Bandicoot 2, you know which one I'm going to be talking about. At least I hope you know which one I'm going to talk about. The level is very, very short. There's not really much to talk about, but it is the Polar Bear Run, where Crash jumps on the back of a baby polar bear, poor thing, and then the bear runs through, and you've got to dodge all sorts of stuff, crashing through all your boxes as best you can, avoiding nitros. You've got to hit your TNTs. You've got to avoid all the orcas that are flying, jumping out of the ice as well, and you've got to time things and memorize where you're going. And it's just a really fun, frantic level that is just thematically brilliant. And just outside of this level as well, in the kind of hub area, you have the little polar bear sat there, and it's a bit of fun. You just jump on his head loads, you get tons and tons of lives. Only you get a certain amount, I think you get like 10 or so, but you get quite a lot of lives from him as well. Poor little thing, again, you're just jumping on a baby polar bear's head. So it's not very nice, but it is something that will help you throughout this game as well. And of course, if you haven't played the Insane Trilogy, you kind of need to. If you've ever been a fan of Crash Bandicoot, it's such an amazing set of games that are very difficult now with like new controls, especially the first game, but not overly difficult. It's all possible. But yeah, this Polar Bear Run level is absolutely one of my favorites. It is purely iconic for Crash Bandicoot, and if you see it running now on the screen, well, you know exactly what I mean. So guys, that was my video. That was a list of 5, or well, 6 technically, great ice-based or snow-based levels within gaming. So I said one of them was a cheat, one of them was basically an entire game, but I just wanted an excuse to talk about Dead Space. But you got some really cool ones here, and a lot of these games are quite old. You should be able to find them and play them pretty easily, or you have to find the older consoles, or play them any way you can. As always, guys, let us know what you think of the video. If you want to see more of my light drawings and different characters, again, mention it down below. Every single Friday, Javier has Have I Got News For You at 6:30. Every single Friday, every single Sunday, there's More Bears Den at 12 PM. And I'll try and get more regular content. Last couple of weeks have been a bit iffy for me. I do apologise for that. But there are plenty of reviews, plenty of list videos that we have, and loads of Let's Plays within the Respawning community on YouTube and the internet as well. So check out all the links below. Other than that, guys, you have yourself a fantastic day. Don't forget to be nice to each other, yeah?